there's one main piece of advice when I think it comes to screen time, and that is that screen time saves parents' sanity. I don't think there is a parent out there who could not admit to co-parenting with YouTube at times. And I'd like you to join me in taking a minute's silence in praise of those American women who spend hours being Onia and Alcia so we can all get our dinner cooked. Praise be to you. If you're new here, my name is SJ. I'm a gentle parent, a charity shop lover, a plant-based person because I like to stay in my own lane and avoid every cliche. And here is a researched approach to positive screen time. I think there's three very basic rules. Number one is embrace it. It's here to stay. It is a massive part of the modern world. There was a time when people said that books were really bad for women, so we just got to get on board with it and figure out how to do it positively and get involved. If you've never had social media, you don't know all the apps, you don't know the rules, then try it out, because you're never going to be able to guide your child through something you've never even tried. And also nothing gets them off TikTok faster than their mum doing a dance routine. Balance it. That's basically what all these tips, very practical research tips, are going to be about. And discuss it. There's so much to be said for just having these conversations out loud and not sugarcoating things or taking things off them without having the proper chat. It is a whole world. It is a universe. It's pretty much, when they're tweens, their favourite place to go, isn't it, for all of us? And guess what? We're all invited in as well. They love nothing more than us joining them in their digital landscape. So there's tons of ways you can be positive about screen time. Of course, it can be dangerous. We know the dangers of social media. We've heard so many horror stories in the mainstream media about how we're all just glued to our screens all the time and kids can't walk and talk. And that's really not what the studies are saying. There's average screen time recommended per age of child. This is the average of people who replied to the study, and you might feel a bit reassured by it and feel a bit normal by it. And we're all punching, we're all dreaming if we think that forevermore our kids are only going to watch cartoons in Spanish. Just be realistic, let's be open and honest and have a chat about some ways we can make it the best that we can. One big crucial thing is how screens are making your kids feel, no matter what age they are. And it's easy to see that some kids get really frustrated, they can get angry, or they can zone out or find it really, really hard to turn their screen off and do something else. And then we get obsessed with they're addicted. They're addicts, I've done everything terribly wrong and this is a total nightmare. I have to take it away and totally not have it anymore. But actually taking away their screens can be really the worst thing we can do, because it becomes like forbidden fruit. And are your rules around your screens at the moment kind of making it forbidden fruit? And if your kid is that way inclined, they will be rushing off to that screen every single second that they can. I think the biggest mistake I made was we had screen times just on a Sunday. And that worked really well when my kids were little, but then Sunday became screen time day and there was nothing else they wanted to do on that day. And there's nothing worse than being on your screen and just standing behind your kid trying to yell at them to go for a walk. Like, that's not gonna work. So then we realized that was what was causing the argument, was kind of keeping it to one day. And I get it. Like, I thought about myself and I was like, do you know what? I absolutely love watching Married at First Sight. And if I was only allowed to do that one day a week, would I want to do anything else on that day? If somebody said, actually, do you want to go out? I'd be like, oh, do you know what? Then I couldn't watch it for a whole other week, which is a lifetime for a child. So then we changed it to having it free in our house. There's not a screen time in particular. We just fill up our routine with other things using all these tips and techniques. And that's what's worked best for us. Sometimes they get in, they've had a long day, particularly my older one being at secondary. That is like a assault on your social senses. And he uses his screen as a chance to unwind, be alone, be in his own zone and just decompress. And he's happy, he's calm, he's chatty, he's willing to turn it off. Sometimes they'll play a game and they'll get so frustrated and angry. It's difficult and it's a team game, or the game's too hard for them, or they're throwing new stuff at them all the time and you can just see them getting worked up. And in that situation, I am so honest. I don't sugarcoat it. I just go, that game's making you really angry. You can't be enjoying playing that. Let's switch it off and go and play football. Or that game looks like it's really frustrating and a little bit too grown up for you. Why don't we try and play one of our other apps and go switch to an educational app and do it together? It's like, oh, I don't really like the way they're talking on that video. Why don't we pick something and watch it together? So you're transitioning them out of it, getting in and connecting, and then switching it off together. And it's a much smoother process. And also I think it's a skill for life, being told, look, I'm not enjoying it. And always say to them, that's not really worth your time to have time doing something you're not even enjoying. And when you say you're not enjoying it, they're like, gosh, yeah, I really am not enjoying this. I'm better than that. I'm better than Pokemon. So positive screen time, we all know what that is, and it's just sort of edging ourselves into 80% of that positive screen time. I reckon we all watch the same types of things, and there's so much interest. I love the fact that screen time can help them really follow a passion as well, like learn how to draw. We did loads about pet care when we got our hamster, RIP Everest, and when we got our kitten. They love watching videos about looking after cats and kittens. But there's also entertainment, and really quality entertainment now. Isn't it so much better than some of like the bright, crazy stuff that we used to just watch when we were kids that had like no point? So I was really thrilled when I got a sponsor for this video, BB and Tina. We love the program because we've started to listen to the radio play. Audio is brilliant. I'm obsessed with audio. If you follow my channel, you will know I just listen to it all the time, and I find it so good because it gets me working. I can do stuff. Like, who wouldn't clean with something audio on? So I did that the other day with the kids. I was like, let's tidy up, and we sort of all help each other out, and we had the radio play on for BB and Tina.
When my cousin Teresa was visiting us at the castle?
Yes, that was scary. All those spooky stories sitting around the fire. And Freddy pretending to be the headless knight.
You girls were so scared of me.
Not me. Me neither.
Really capturing their creative side because there's all the different voices. So it's not like an audio book where it's one person reading the story. It's like a proper play with all the different sound effects. So it's really creative. And audio has been proven to really help with their linguistics and help with their creative mind. So Evelina really likes to act the little bits out. Sometimes we'll act out whole things on audio. I've always done that. It's quite fun. We'll put on a sound effect and we'll creep around the house to a spooky sound effect. It's fun over here, let me tell you about those screens. BB and Tina is really special because they're teenagers. So BB is a little witch, super cool. I love her name as well, and she holidays with Tina on her family's farm. So it's got all the horses. They absolutely love horses, the two of them. And Tina has a boyfriend, really in love, but there is some jealousy. So they love these topics, and it gets me to have that ability again to chat about things like jealousy, friendship, love, spells, all the stuff that's relevant in my life, but we love the little bits of magic within it. There's the YouTube videos as well, so if you're going to have some co-watching, I will link BB and Tina below. Snuggle down tonight and have a watch of it. What I really enjoyed about it is that they talk about the parents' problems. So the parents are discussing, or the dad's discussing with his friend, how there's so much work to do on the farm and how he doesn't think he can do it all by himself and how he needs some help. And I really appreciated that. I was like, thank you. It's good for kids to hear that sometimes, and for the parents to actually be in it, having a life. Often when there's no parents or just a foot walks past, like, where is the mum? And then they talk about fears in this episode. So we had a really good chat, and I was talking to the kids. They were talking about riding their bikes and when they fell off their bikes. And it's slow paced, it's gentle, it's not shouty, it's really mellow, really calming. So a great find for me and my family. I really hope you enjoy it as well. I will link it all below. And a massive thank you for BB and Tina for supporting my channel, supporting my series, introducing themselves to you guys, so you can support them by clicking on the link. And then it's a whole big cycle of love and support for each other. And let other things in your home take priority. So we have an area now, a little station where all of the screens are, the tablets and the phones, and they can go to that area when they want their screen time. It's a part of the downstairs, it's right there in our dining room. There's a little beanbag there where they can sit and have their screen time, and they really enjoy that as part of their day. But if we don't create anything else around the home to kind of inspire them away from it, we can be doing ourselves a disservice. So think, where are my board games? I would love to play board games rather than you guys being on your screen all the time. It's like, well, yeah, where are the board games, Mum? They're like in that top cupboard that I can't even reach. Guilty. So I moved all our board games into a lovely little thrifted basket, £5, thank you. And then we open the lid, I can pop a few out on the, I guarantee if I put one on the coffee table, they'll come in, sit down, watch a bit of telly, then be like, can we play this? It's almost immediate. Or you get out their drawing and put it all over the dining room table. Take that Barbie house, put it downstairs. I know. It is stressful sometimes. If it's there, they will come, as a wise person once said. How irritating is it that all the games they want to spend their money on? And like, that is a massive difference. Like when we were younger and I was like binge watching Neighbours and hoping to hell that my mum wasn't going to come in before the bill came on, because that was my forbidden fruit. Loved a healthy dose of murder and crime in the evening before bed. Now it's all the money, and I'm, again, don't sugarcoat it. I say to the kids, no, there is a new thing that's only available today, but it will be that every single day, and that's how they invent the game, so that they keep you coming back to it, and they want you to spend your money on it, and you've got better things to spend your money on. And that's how I say it to them, and they really accept that. I've said that so many times now, and hand on heart, they don't ask me now as much as they used to spend money on all these little bucks and balls. But the rule we had at the beginning was you don't spend your pocket money on it. If you've earned some money, so if you've done a job or you've helped out and earned money, then that's your earned money and you can spend that on your game. That was kind of the rules and the boundaries that we had around it. And as I said, just trying to encourage them to spend money on something else. So quite often we'll just flip onto Facebook Marketplace, find a little book or a game that they would rather have instead, whiz off and get it, job done. Social media. Social media is only scary if it's a secret. And I really believe that, and I think that's going to be my motto I've just invented going through the rest of my children growing up. I'm really lucky because I used to work for the NSPCC and I did a lot of work around ShareAware, which is their online screen service, and we did loads of research with parents talking to them about screen time and social media. An overwhelming thing was recognising the danger and recognising that we can teach them, and it's really not that scary. Like, we wouldn't let our child just cross the road. We wouldn't go off to school, you can cross the road, because that's really dangerous. And at the same time, we just need to simply teach and hold their hand and teach them how to navigate this danger. And there's things that really freak parents out, like automatic location sharing, parental controls, how do I figure all those out? And you can literally go into any phone store, especially if you're handing down a phone. A lot of the problems that we came across was parents handing down phones and they haven't changed all the settings. And you can go into any phone store and ask them to set all that up for you, and make sure you do that. You can take in every single device and just go, could you please set up my parental controls? And there's people who can do that for us. Thank you. The social media is social currency, and just like me wanting to watch the Bill in EastEnders so I could chat about it with the cool kids at school down in Swindon, I really know that for my son, social media is a currency, so that is allowing him to watch stuff. And what I do though is talk about it before. We actually did an online course. There's loads of little online social safety courses before we got his first phone, but having the chat, saying to him, you're going to see stuff that you don't like. You're going to see stuff you don't agree with. You're going to see bad morals. You might see violence. You might hear racism. You might see things that are a bit sexual. And really just had those chats with him, because if he's going to go into that world, he needs to know what he's going to see, and he needs to know that he can turn those off, and that anything upsets him, he can come and tell me about it. And having that dialogue early on, not mentioning scary words, how do they know about Pennywise? How do they know? But then I thought, God, do you know what? I knew, but I also knew, no way do I want to look at that. And I could move away from stuff myself. So having that trust, warning them, telling them what they're going to see, and telling them you can stay away from that stuff. Picking creators together. There are brilliant creators out there that are kid friendly, and I sort of say to them, like, let's pick 2 or 3. When we first had open access to like more videos, I was like, let's pick a few that we like, that mummy likes as well, and those are the ones you're allowed to watch. And trusting them. If I see them watching something they're not allowed to watch, oh, that's not one of your chosen YouTubers, move over. And just teaching them that discipline of picking something they like, but picking something appropriate for them as well. And that's my boundary around it. We all like our favourite YouTubers. I am a YouTuber, so I can't be too hypocritical when it comes to my kids. Oh, and I should say, like and subscribe if you're enjoying this video. I'd love to have you as part of my dental parenting community. You can just hit subscribe below. You can hit like, you can say hi below, and there's even a little bell, which is nice. I'm 1000% worried about mental health and effects on my sons particularly, and people talk about girls, but it's boys in particular, and how much younger those issues are coming out around anxiety, social anxiety, self-esteem issues, seeing all these kind of fads and how fads. It's really, really worrying as parents. And it all comes down to boundaries and having real world conversations, telling them that social media, what they see is somebody's highlight. You wouldn't post yourself crying in your bed. You would post yourself when you're having a great day out with your friends. That's what they've done. It doesn't mean they don't feel the same as you. It doesn't mean everyone's struggling. It's a highlight reel. We've had to learn that. We're quite grown up, but we still have those feelings. So teaching them that really, really young, it's just a really normal, natural conversation these days that we have to have from very, very much younger than maybe we think they're able to cope with. They can have a chat about any of this stuff, and teaching them about social. Never send a message to a friend that you wouldn't want their parent reading, because their parent reads their WhatsApp, let me tell you. And secondly, never comment something that you wouldn't literally paint on the wall outside of their house. So if you think it's funny or you think it's a bit sarcastic, you can never get a tone from what somebody's written down. So sometimes my son will be like, oh, you're so stupid. And I'm like, well, that might be funny if you're with your friend face to face, because they can see you're smiling. It's a little nudge, oh, you're so stupid. If you write that, they might be at home, they might have just been told off, they might just have been struggling with their homework and they get a message, you're so stupid. They don't know how you mean that. And that was a really good conversation I had with my son, and he's really got that now. Those are my tips. How was that? Was it useful? I hope so. I wanted to give you as many as I could. I would love to hear your tips below and how you do screen time. We're all at different stages and we've all got different beliefs and boundaries around it. So we're all going to be different. Let's be respectful. Let's turn off our screens now. But hit subscribe first. I'll see you on the next video. Bye guys.